The resilience of animals has always amazed me. How, despite being let down by humans when they needed help the most, they are still such loving and forgiving creatures. And this is a story of resilience and love between two cat sisters who were left abandoned in a property. Not much is known about their background and why Ellie and Fergie were left alone.
A member of public called the National Call Centre, and then an inspector attended, realised they were abandoning that property, and then obviously gained access and got them to safety and got them some medical care. They put in something called an abandonment notice. Nobody came forward, and that's when we took over. When they arrived with us, they was around about 8 months old, so they were only young girls. I don't know how long they'd been in the property for, but they were a little bit underweight, so we suspect they could have been left on their own for a little while.
Sadly, despite being rescued and now safe, there was more bad news on the way for Ellie, as the team found out she wasn't quite as well as they thought.
The first signs of Ellie not being very well was that she seemed quite reluctant to move around, and when she did move around we could see that she was really limping on that back leg.
The vet team x-rayed Ellie's leg and it was found that she had an old injury, diagnosed as a femoral head fracture.
Basically the long bone at the top of her leg, which is a thigh bone, where it meets in the socket, it slips out, in, and that's sort of worn away over time. It's not something that they would say is a birth defect, so it has been caused by some form of trauma. The most common ones are a fall as a young kitten, or it could have been that she'd been clipped by a car. Ellie was obviously in quite a little bit of pain with that injury that she had, because she didn't have the weight and muscle on her. Obviously that joint just kept popping in and out, in and out. It doesn't cause her pain now because of how it's healed. She has the muscle supporting that joint and she has daily pain relief, so we can make sure that she is comfortable.
But the bad news wasn't over for Ellie. After an examination of her heart, she was diagnosed with a grade 4 murmur.
Her specific heart murmur we have now had assessed by a cardiac vet, and we did a fundraiser to raise the money. It just meant that we would then be able to give an adopter as much information about Ellie and her medical conditions as possible, and they have said that in the future she could end up needing supportive medications in case she goes into heart failure, but he is happy enough that at the moment she is coping and her heart is coping, so she should be able to have a healthy life. It just may not be as long as what someone would want for her, but she can be happy and comfortable for however long she has got. With everything that she has been through, I do think that heart murmur could have caused more issues, and it could have been amplified by the stress of being abandoned and left in the property. They are both very people-orientated cats, so I would imagine it would have been highly stressful for her, which then will have made that heart murmur worse. Given that she physically wasn't as well as Fergie as well, unfortunately I think if they had been left, I don't think Ellie would have survived her ordeal. I think they could have been abandoned because of the health conditions, especially with Ellie, because she was showing those signs of having that injury. Veterinary fees can be really, really expensive, especially in the current climate. But obviously there is never really an excuse. You can always call up someone like the RSPCA, like your local animal centres, and we will never see an animal suffer. We will always try to step in to help. But I do suspect that it could have been that someone was concerned about trying to get her medical help. It does make me angry when people do abandon their animals, because as much as people say they can't find help in these kinds of extreme situations, any self-respecting animal rescue will not turn their back on somebody who needs help and their animal is suffering. It is cruel to abandon an animal. They have feelings too. We've seen it where animals are looking for people because they don't understand. They speak a different language to us and we can't explain that someone's not coming back for them. And there are studies out there that suggest that it does exhibit behavioural conditions like stress and anxiety and separation anxiety, because they are essentially being left behind by somebody that they're still waiting for that's never coming back. I do this job because we're almost like the middlemen. So the inspectors go out and do the rescuing and we do the rehabilitation, and that to me is the most rewarding part of the job, showing these animals that kindness and then getting the satisfaction of seeing them going to loving, healthy, happy homes.
Ellie and Fergie have now been with the RSPCA team for the past 2 months and are thriving under their love and care.
Day to day, if you didn't know that Ellie had a heart murmur, I don't think you would notice it. So she's still very happy, she's playful, loving. She is extremely bonded with her sister Fergie, so that's why they're staying together, because they're like little emotional support things for each other. They love to be with people. Ellie will literally just come and give you cuddles right away. Fergie does like to give you kisses as well. It can be seen as being a bit strange how loving and affectionate they are with people given what they've been through, but it is something we see commonly in rescue with dogs and cats, and that is that they are so forgiving. So I think all it takes sometimes is that one nice person to show them the nice attention, and then they're all happy for it.
Ellie and Fergie have been put up for adoption together, but despite their loving nature, they are still waiting for their forever home.
Sadly, we haven't had much interest in them, and I think it's because a lot of people are a little bit worried about Ellie's condition, especially the heart condition. It is a thing that we find it harder to rehome animals, especially as we've said with the cost of living, the veterinary fees are increasing. So we are almost looking for those really special people that are willing to open their home to a more vulnerable animal. The ideal home for Ellie and Fergie is an understanding home that understands that unfortunately you may not get as much time with Ellie as you would like, but I think the most important part for us is a home where they can stay together as they are very bonded and they can actually experience proper care and a proper loving home. Without sounding cheesy, finding Ellie a new home where she can settle and be with people and live in a loving environment could actually help heal her poorly heart. She deserves to have the best life possible for the time that she has got, and the cardiac vet that has dealt with Ellie has said she could quite easily live into her late teens and have no issues at all, or it could be that she only has a couple of years, but no matter how long that time period is, she deserves to have love and care and be happy in a home.
Since filming, there's been some amazing news. 2 months later, Ellie and Fergie were adopted together by a loving family who wanted to give them the care they always deserved, and who were committed to giving Ellie the best life possible, no matter how much time she has left. From abandoned animals to now beloved pets, Ellie and Fergie's sisterly bond is still as strong as ever. If you ever feel that you need help with your cat, then please contact your local animal rescue for support and reach out for help. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more remarkable rescue stories here on Rescue Vet. Bye for now.